Good morning, pedestrians. It is March 18th. I wasn't able to make a video last Sunday because we had a birthday party and I was playing super dad / husband on getting things ready and didn't have time to make a video. So I'm gonna make a video and I'm going outside first and then I'm gonna go inside and show you what I've been working on. So here are my citrus trees. We had 40-mile-an-hour winds last night. Came through and totally destroyed this Plumello, Tangelo, Plumello. Some of the other guys' citrus were able to survive, but good news, I have some new growth that's going on in there, which is great. So hopefully the citrus trees will survive these nice winds. I think I'm just gonna have to get a greenhouse or something, build one and throw these citrus in there because they are not doing very good out here. Anyways, so off to the figs. Here I have multiple starts that I put in here, and great news, look at this. I have never grown from just sticking a grapevine in soil and having it grow. This is the black maduka, and it's starting to leaf out, which is great. The Tillamook gummies still have not leafed out, which is totally fine. But I'm not here to really talk about those things. There is a pomegranate that is starting to grow, and blueberries, or no, these are blackberries, have not grown yet. But anyways, things that I want to focus on. Fig trees. This last week we were in California, which was great. I went to Laguna Hills Nursery and purchased these 3 fig trees, which I would highly recommend going to Laguna Hills. Gary's his name, is an awesome guy. He's been doing trees and starts and all that stuff for a very long time. So I think supporting him is a great endeavor. This variety is the Unknown Pastelliere, which I have a couple of starts that decided to die at the last minute, but I'm not giving up hope on them. So I'm trying this. I know I need to, this is not considered to be a common fig, so I need to pollinate it to be able to get the good fruit off of it, which I'm okay with doing. I want to try to see if I can introduce the fig wasp here in St. George, because St. George, I think, has the same temperatures and stuff as parts of California. So I figure we might have a chance here. It doesn't get too cold. But this one is the Unknown Bergen, and I have a couple of starts of this one also, but I thought I would have something a little bit more established. Hopefully it'll grow for me. And then this is the Thermalito, and that's supposed to be one of the best tasting Adriatic types. And then I have a hardy kiwi that's growing on here. We've got a little bit of death going on, but it's actually growing, and a couple of other hardy kiwis that I started in there. There's another hardy kiwi and some pomegranates. But if we look at this, look at the growth that's coming out. Yes. So growth down towards the base, growth coming out the top. Here's another one. There's the Violet's Delight. This is an unknown black variety. It hasn't grown out yet, but there's some signs of growth. And then this one is the Cadota. It looks good. I don't know if it's gonna, yeah, there's some green in there. Focus, some green in there. And then also the Mary Lane from One Green World. This one is starting to leaf out, which is great. And Morning Star. This is awesome because I'm getting some buds that are growing here and some growth down towards the base. And then also the Igo Onyx, which does not look very good. It looks to be basically dead. But I mean, there's a little bit of growth right there. So maybe the upper part is toast. I'm just gonna wait and see what happens. Strawberry Verte is also growing. So I have some good growth that's going on. This, I think, is a Celeste. I'm just gonna let it grow from the base and from the top. See what I can get for the first little part, and then I'll pluck that off and let the top just grow, because I want these more in the tree type format. Okay, that's a quick little update on the outside trees. I've already planted the other varieties in the ground, and maybe I'll show a clip of planting some of those. They're already starting to leaf out, and you can watch my other video going through the orchard to kind of give that update. All right, I'm gonna go inside. I have a couple of things to talk about inside. All right, now I'm indoors, and I've had a lot of growth on some of these things and some that have totally died. So for the most part, except for a couple, you look there, toast, dead. This part of it is dying. Some of these are looking really good though, in terms of size. A little bit of fig mosaic virus there, which again is fine. I just want to get these things to live. We have some new growth on some other varieties that are in the back there. And in the front here, the Tia Pena. One that I thought was almost dead is actually growing right now. And only one variety of this Adriatic that is just holding on. It's barely holding on. This one is toast, the other two died. They didn't root out. Now, these are varieties that were in fig pop method, okay, and they were starting to die. So I up potted them, and now they are they're dying. So I'm watering them about once a week with about 100 grams of water. So on the top, it's really dry looking, but underneath, it's relatively moist, but not too wet. I mean, that's not very wet. So I'm gonna keep doing this because I know that these Pastelier unknowns, these two, had a good root system. And I'm just hoping that I didn't kill them. The bark looks good still. It should be fine. This variety is a 796 from the Fig Hunters. Part of it is dying back, and then part of it is still kind of growing. So I'm hoping that will stay on. This one is, oh, I forgot what this one is. Cadota, that I started in Fig Pop in January, and it also is kind of, it looks dead. I mean, it's pretty darn wiggly. But when I pull on it, it's still alive. So here's the problem. There's a long neck, yellow long neck. No roots. What's up with that? But it had green growth on the top and just eventually went kaput. I found 6 other fig varieties, or 7, that were in a similar situation. I removed them from the fig pop method, and sure enough, there were no roots that were growing off of the branch. So I just removed the soil and pulled them out. They are toast. But I have a good variety, or a good amount, of figs that are growing via the fig pop, but they just don't look very good. And I look at the root system, they also don't have a very good root system. Here's one in the back here on the front. These are all on a heat mat. This one is a Fig Hunter 314. Hardly any roots. There's a little bit right there. And that's usually what happens. It starts wilting like that. And, well, I don't know. I don't know why they would die off so quickly. But I have thought, I watched some videos on you need to water more so that they don't die. I've watched videos saying you need to water less. So some of the ones that are starting to die, I'm just up potting and hoping that I get enough soil for the roots to be able to expand out and hopefully bounce back. Some of these are doing good, but even the ones that are more established, all of a sudden one day they just kind of go kaput. Most of these varieties in here are toast, except for 3 of them. And I did bottom watering on these, but you can see, like this Beer's Black, that just, I mean, that's totally dead. But I pull on it, and that is solid. I mean, it is in there. Like, I can lift the whole entire thing with it. So, must be well rooted, and maybe they're just well rooted, but yeah, I don't know. So I'm gonna just leave these here and see. This one I think is toast. Wow, I'm pulling up on this one too, and it's not moving. So they have to be well rooted. Maybe I just rotted them out towards the bottom, or maybe they're just well rooted and they need some time to kind of rejuvenate and bounce back. So I'm gonna let these kind of sit there. I have these other varieties that started to leaf out, and now they're just taking forever. So I exposed the plastic, allowed them to leaf out a little bit, and ever since I exposed the plastic, they've just kind of sat there. They haven't done much. When I lift them up, this one feels a little light, so it could use a watering. And I'm trying to wait a week between waterings with these starts. These ones that are a little bit bigger, maybe I need to water them every other day, because some of them start to look like they're wilting, and I'm like, oh, maybe I need to water them. I water them, and then they wilt even more. I try this meter too, and it will tell me if it is moist or wet. And most of the time they're moist, but they're starting to droop. So I don't know if that's like I'm over fertilizing. Maybe that's the case. It's very diluted in terms of the fertilizer that I'm using. Or maybe this is just normal to get maybe 50% success rate. Okay, now the thing that I've been waiting for to show everybody, I have all of these out here in this one spot, and I have a fig gnat problem, obviously. I think it was introduced when I got some live plants and put them down here, because this was all sterile soil. I water with an anti-larval stuff. Thank you, Lucky. And I don't know if it's been doing a good job or not, but I decided to get some other starts. But before I go to the next part and show you what I've been doing, I'm going to shift over here to these. I had to up pot some of these smaller. They were in these smaller vessels like this. And I think I didn't water them enough, and they started to die back a little bit. This one, 2 of the leaves started to droop a lot. And so I said, oh, you know what? I either need to water them more often, or I need to up pot them, because when I up potted them, the outside, the roots were pretty darn dry. They were not moist at all. So when I up potted them into this larger, it allows for more moisture to be in there, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. Just like these, if you have more soil, you don't have to worry about watering them as much, because there's just more soil, more variables for the roots to be able to grow into, and they're not reliant on all the water that you have to give them right then. So up potted those, and these other guys are actually doing pretty good. So in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I'll be able to take these and place them outdoors, the more established ones, and hopefully get some good growth on them, because right now they're just hanging on. Not very good. Okay, now to the good part. I might have already introduced these. I got these from Figaholics. These are different varieties. This bin I started 2 weeks ago, a little over 2 weeks ago. I'm trying a combination of things. I'm putting the bag over each of them, obviously. They are the 4x4x9 pots, and I cut them down to size, so they're about half the depth of the pot, so that I can do some bottom watering, and that I'm hoping will allow them to draw up the water and water the figs without watering them from the top. This is closed off from the other section, so I shouldn't have any fig gnats in here. These varieties right here, this is one that I just cut off of a fig that is downtown at 100 South. There was a guy that used to have this huge property downtown, and there's a natural growing fig that's there. I don't know what variety it is. So I thought I'd get a bunch of starts and see if I could make it work. Figure I'd experiment with some other things, but there is some green growth. Again, it's not a very good sign. But what I'm doing with this is, right as soon as green growth starts, I remove the plastic so that this does not have humidity issues. It's relatively light green with all these different varieties. There, I don't know if you can see that. But I want to make it so that they don't rot. So as soon as they start to show signs of green, I open it up to be able to expose. The whole top part of that is about to explode, but it shows some green, so I know that there is some growth, at least on the top. I'm going to get some lights and put them in here. This room is about 80 degrees. It's about 78 degrees because that heater with the chickens is keeping it nice and warm. And if I look at this heat mat, it's at about 80 degrees, but the heat mat is actually really not on. So ultimately what I'm going to do with these is pull the plastic off after about a month of them growing, and then I'm going to do bottom watering. I'm going to water in the tote about the bottom inch so that it will go up about halfway and hopefully get those roots at the bottom. Do some bottom watering for the first or the second month. See how it fares. This is the new order that I got from Figaholics yesterday on their last day of being able to order. And some of these varieties, again, I have a Bergen Unknown. I have 3 Bergen Unknown cuttings. I really want to give it a try and see how it works. I've read and heard that if the top of the fig is like this, where it's the end of the fig, you don't actually have to wrap it because it's all sealed in. Whereas the other portions are not necessarily sealed in. So I'm trying to experiment. My experiment is this. I took and wrapped all of these varieties with a paraffin wax on the top, didn't go down to the soil, and then I have plastic wrapped around it until they start to leaf out. If they leaf out and they have roots, just by pulling up on them a little bit, if they feel solid in there, then I will take the plastic all the way off and wait until they get to about 450 grams. Each of these pots are about 525, 550 grams. And then I'm going to water them with about 100 grams of water once a week. So I will keep them within the range of 450 to 550 of the weight until they get established. Then I will bump it up, and establish meaning they leaf out 2 to 3 leaves. Then I'll bump it up to about 650 from 450 on the watering, and possibly water every other day to be able to get it. But when I water, I'm going to water around the outside edge just to see if I can get these things to grow. That's the experiment difference. These will be watered by weight. These will be watered by bottom water. I think it'll be a lot easier. The fig pops obviously won't be bottom water fed, but whatever works. So that's the plan. We'll see if it works out or if it's a total failure. I've spent probably $500, $600. I've spent $600 or so in the last 6 months on fig starts. It's a problem, I know, but I just wanted to try it out and see if I can get things going and figure out a process for this. Next year, I probably won't do any starts unless they come from the trees that I already have that are established. All right, I know there's a long video, but I'm just trying to share tips and tricks and what I've learned works and what doesn't work so far. I am not liking the fig pop method because I lose them when I try to transplant them. Whereas these guys, they're already there. I don't disturb the roots and they grow, and if the green keeps growing, then they're alive, and if the green dies back, then no roots are growing. But man, these chickens are having a heyday in there. All right, hope this information was beneficial. Hi girls, let me know if you have any questions or thoughts. Any helpful tips would be beneficial. I live in a desert environment, and humidity is a definite problem, but maybe I'm overwatering these things, or maybe I'm just underwatering them and I think that I'm overwatering them. Once a week I don't think is a lot of watering, but that's just me. All right, have an excellent day.